Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over this modified Ford Raptor. It's a 2018 Gen 2, but first and foremost a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with this Raptor. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So I've already reviewed a bunch of Raptors here on the channel, so this is going to be a little bit more of an impromptu walkthrough on the Raptor, just so you guys can quickly see the modifications on it. So we will actually start underneath the hood, and let me know if you guys like this style of video and I can kind of do more stuff like this, I guess, in the future. One thing about Raptor hoods is they're super hard to open with one hand because of how heavy they are. You have to kind of like, oh, there we go, and then it'll finally pop open. But it looks like this one has a Cobb air intake, so we might get some turbo noise later on. I don't know if it has any extra power. I'm guessing it's going to be just stock power, so 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed automatic, 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. So yeah, that's probably gonna be the setup there. And then this thing's always nice to be able to kind of catch it and all that kind of stuff. Everything's stock here with the light system so far, but notice that this does have an aftermarket intercooler. You can kind of see right there. We've got a winch as well. Light pods pretty much everywhere, which I'll throw those on right now. And then yes, there's cool aftermarket setup with that. So I don't know which auxiliary switches they are tied to, so we're just going to turn on literally every single auxiliary switch and hopefully that makes it work. We might have to actually have the truck on. Yeah, we have to have the truck turned on to be able to do this. Like I said, impromptu walkthrough. Hopefully you guys, definitely sounds good. Hopefully you guys like this. Look at that carbon fiber. But yes, so we'll throw that, and yeah, notice we got the light pod right there. More lights right there. And then this one does have an aftermarket setup for the wheels. So notice we've got the aftermarket wheels. I think they look really good with the overall setup. Still have 35s on it, just like you get with the stock setup on it. And then we've got mud flaps. And then this is the coolest part about this truck. We've got the upgraded shocks from Fox. You guys can see, and I'll talk about that when we actually drive the truck because it does change how it drives quite a bit. Got a little American flag there on the side. Factory side steps. It looks like they did some vinyl here on the mirrors, and then you guys can see here in the rear again we've got the race series shocks. You guys know I love these shocks, and so again it'll be really exciting to drive a truck that has that setup on it. And it looks like again aftermarket exhaust on the truck. We got more light pods here in the back area, and then it's got a tonneau cover there on the top. The stance is really good on this truck with all the stuff that it has. It actually has like this really nice tall aggressive stance that I definitely like. And then I'll show you guys the interior quickly. Again, this is kind of like the loaded up interior. So you've got the heated cooled seats, leather everywhere. You guys can see all of that, still normal stuff. And then the person did add some carbon fiber elements. You've got like the carbon fiber there, kind of like what you get on the Shelby Raptors. And then notice there's more on there, and then there's some carbon fiber up top. Like it's just like in random places, but then also you have the black that you get as well as part of it, which is kind of interesting. The other weird thing is this one does have the lock box added. I never added that to my Raptor personally. And you guys can see, you guys are familiar with the whole infotainment system. But yeah, I mean, that all being said, there's the quick walkthrough. This mainly is going to be about the driving to see how this drives with those shocks, and let's take it out and see how it drives. We are setting off here in this, again, 2018 Gen 2 Raptor with the Race Series Fox shocks. You guys know that I owned a 2020 Raptor, and now I own a 2021 Ram TRX. So I think I've got enough experience with these vehicles to be able to talk about whether or not this truck is worth getting with these shocks and everything, or if you just should stick with the stock ones. The aftermarket exhaust definitely sounds really nice. First off, this truck's really smooth. Like for a Raptor on road, this is great. Yeah, this is really smooth. Let me see what they have the tire pressure at. They don't even have the tire pressure at a good like we're at above what we should be. It's in the 40s. right now I'd probably be rocking the tires at like 35 PSI or even lower, to be honest, on road like this, just for a little bit more compliance. Yeah, that's crazy. This shock system's really good in terms of just smoothing everything out on road. Definitely feels really nice. And I'm actually going to pop it over into the sport mode. Definitely my preferred driving mode. Yep, this has a good sounding exhaust. This truck's actually really nice. I've reviewed quite a bit of used Raptors now at this point, and this one's definitely, condition-wise, one of the nicest that I've reviewed. I mean, it's got 57,000 miles on it. Definitely, whoever owned this took good care of it. I see a lot of used Raptors, and the previous owners just, well, they beat them up worse than I beat up mine, and that is saying quite a bit. You guys probably heard the tires a little bit. This thing struggles to get traction with how quick it is. This is pretty good so far, guys. Pretty good. So we're gonna get our acceleration here with the Raptor. I think this thing's actually tuned. It feels faster than stock, and it also doesn't get any traction. What, like, yeah, this thing's got to have more than stock power, because this thing is definitely quicker than I am used to with the Raptors. That exhaust actually sounds pretty good, to be honest. Now, I have decided that we are going to use this tunnel all the time. Sorry if you guys can't hear me because that motorcycle. I've decided we're going to use this tunnel all the time for reviews when we have vehicles with good sounding exhausts, because, well, we have to get an exhaust clip proper. Yeah, it sounds good. Definitely sounds good. I will. The gear shifts are super quick. Obviously this is mostly about the shocks, but also about this truck in general. So yeah, the shocks did really good on the highway, super smooth. Definitely feel better than stock, I will say that. Compared to stock, that's just such a clean, like, this just has such a clean exhaust note to it. It's not like super obnoxious. My Raptor's exhaust was a little bit more on the obnoxious side. I loved it. This is just like a nice, clean, deep note. Whatever they did with the exhaust on this one, I'll just shut up, listen. Yeah, it's so clean. But anyways, suspension does really good around town, on the highway. It just smooths everything out, feels better than factory. You get good movement with the truck, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I feel like it actually has a little bit, I might be crazy, but it almost feels like this has a little bit less body roll compared to a Gen 2, again, 2017 or 2018 that just has the stock shocks. It feels a little bit better. This feels really close to like a live valve truck. It might even feel a little bit, on road, it definitely feels smoother than a truck with live valve. So you definitely have that going for you. But I'm sure the big question you guys are wondering is, should you invest into this? And here's what I have to say. If you can find a truck like this that already has it, obviously that's ideal, because you're not really gonna have to pay full retail for the shocks or anything like that. So again, Harrison Imports has this truck. I would go for it. But I think the shocks are worth getting if you have a 2017 or 2018 and you want something that's smooth on road. Obviously, I can't talk about the full off-road capability with these shocks because I've never taken a truck with these shocks off-road. If you own a truck with this and live in Utah, hit me up so that we can take this off-road and see how it does off-road. But on-road, it just feels really good. It feels really smooth, compliant. And you don't get the crazy back and forth motion you get as much with the other shocks. It definitely just feels more planted. I think this is how the Raptor should have been from the factory. And so yeah, I definitely love these shocks. I know there's some other options out there, like a lot of people do king suspension with the Raptors, but I don't know. I think this is the route to go in terms of, I'm having so much fun. In terms of like a really good on-road setup, I think this is the route to go. It's really smooth. I've heard the other shocks do a little bit better off-road, but they aren't nearly as smooth as these shocks. And so kind of, obviously it's a give and take. But yeah, this Raptor, overall, this is a really nice truck, and these shocks have very pleasantly surprised me. Let's get sum things up for this modified Gen 2 Raptor with the race series shocks. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Harrison Imports for giving me some time with this Raptor. Check out the inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.